I set the phone face down and listened to the house breathe around me. The fridge hummed. The clock above the stove ticked like a metronome counting down to something ugly. Sarah had kissed me goodbye that morning, quick, distracted, lips barely brushing my cheek, then vanished in a swirl of vanilla perfume and the click of her heels on hardwood. I thought nothing of it. We'd been drifting for months, speaking in short, polite sentences that never quite touched the truth. Work stress, tired later, maybe tomorrow. The usual excuses. That night I couldn't sleep. The bed was too big, the sheets too cold on her side. I kept replaying her text, the casual way she dropped it, like she was telling me she'd be late from yoga. A week. 7 nights. I opened her Instagram out of habit, something I hadn't done in years. And there it was. A story posted 40 minutes ago. Sarah laughing in a bar I didn't recognize, fairy lights strung overhead. Some guy's arms slung around her shoulders, his fingers curled possessively against the curve of her neck. The caption. Finally breathing again. My stomach folded in on itself. I told myself it was nothing. Jenna probably took the photo. Guys do that, drape an arm, act familiar. But the face was half-cropped and I knew that hand. I'd seen it before, holding a beer at our 4th of July barbecue last summer. Mark. The work friend she'd mentioned more and more. The one who really gets the pressure she's under. The one who texted her goodnight emojis when she thought I was asleep. I didn't sleep. At 3:17 a.m., I crept downstairs and opened her laptop. She never logged out of anything, trusted me that much. The betrayal of opening it felt worse than anything I might find. But I did it anyway. Gmail. A folder labeled old stuff. That wasn't old at all. Hundreds of messages. Not explicit at first, just inside jokes, memes, long paragraphs about how seen she felt, how funny he was, how he listened when I apparently didn't. Then the shift. I love yous buried in the middle of sentences. Plans to meet for coffee that lasted until 2 a.m. Hotel confirmations with heart emojis. One line burned itself into my skull. I wish I'd met you before I promised forever to someone else. I sat there until dawn, reading until my eyes stung. Every word a small knife sliding between ribs. She wasn't evil. That was the worst part. The emails were full of guilt, of missing me, of hating herself. She wrote about how lonely our house felt even when we were both in it, how we'd stopped touching except by accident, how she'd tried to talk and I'd been too buried in deadlines to hear the tremor in her voice. She wasn't proud. She was lost. And Mark, God, even his messages sounded human, told her she deserved to feel wanted, that 10 years shouldn't mean settling for silence. I closed the laptop before the sun came up and made coffee I didn't drink. When she came home Sunday night, 3 days early, eyes red, carrying a duffel like nothing had happened, I was sitting at the kitchen table with the evidence spread out like a deck of cards I never wanted to play. She froze in the doorway. The color drained from her face so fast I thought she might faint. Jake. Sit down, Sarah. Her legs gave out more than folded. She looked small suddenly, the woman I'd loved since we were 22. The one who used to dance barefoot in our first apartment to songs only we knew. I pushed the printed emails across the table. She didn't touch them. I'm sorry, she whispered. It sounded so inadequate it was almost funny. Were you ever going to tell me? She started crying then, the ugly kind where snot runs and shoulders shake. I was trying to end it. That's why I left. I thought if I stayed away long enough I could come back clean. I swear I was ending it. But you didn't. I was scared. Of this. Of losing you. Of admitting I broke us. I wanted to scream. I wanted to hold her. I wanted to disappear. Instead I asked the question that hurt the most. Do you love him? She looked at me for a long time, eyes swollen, mascara tracks down her cheeks. I love the way he made me feel when I thought you stopped noticing I was drowning. The honesty gutted me more than any lie could have. We sat in silence until the coffee went cold a second time. Outside, kids rode bikes down the street, laughing like the world hadn't cracked open. I thought about the vows we'd written ourselves. No obey, no till death, just I choose you today and I'll keep choosing you. I hadn't been choosing. I'd been coasting. I don't know how to fix this, I said finally. My voice cracked on the last word. I don't either, she answered. But I want to try. If you do. I looked at her, really looked. The faint scar on her eyebrow from when we tried to build IKEA furniture drunk. The way her hand shook now, reaching for mine across the table. She was still the person I knew better than anyone. And still a stranger who'd slept in another man's bed, while I stared at our ceiling wondering why she felt so far away. I didn't take her hand. Not yet. But I didn't pull away either. Some fractures never fully heal. You just learn where the weight can go and where it can't. That morning we started learning. Slowly. Painfully. With counselors in separate bedrooms and nights where one of us slept on the couch because the hurt was too loud. We really talked until our throats were raw. About the years we'd spent being polite instead of present. About the quiet ways we'd both checked out long before her body ever did. It's been 6 months. Some days I still taste metal when I remember. Some nights I wake up reaching for her and pull back because the memory stings. But more days now I reach and she's there. We're learning a new language. Ugly, honest words instead of careful ones. We touch on purpose now, not by accident. We ask the scary questions before they fester. I kept the ring on. She kept trying. Neither of us is fixed. Both of us are trying. Trust isn't a switch you flip back on. It's 1,000 tiny choices to stay when leaving would be easier. Some stories end in ashes. Ours is still smoldering, but for the first time in years, there's heat that isn't just pain. Maybe that's enough. Maybe love, the real kind, isn't the absence of cracks. It's deciding the broken thing is still worth holding. Carefully. Every single day.